constituencies that will vote for the UNC, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and the coalition of interests. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We must. We must. And there are those who believe that somehow we must not make the transformation. Some look at it as transgression. Transgression of what? Or from what? How could you and dare you say that Laventille must remain in this, what I consider to be quagmire, this devilish, naked abuse and retrogression that Laventille has been subjected to over the past several years under the PNM, and therefore we say that enough is enough and we must get rid of you, and we do so next week Monday. I ain't talking 28 again. I ain't talking that again. No. Next week Monday. Decision making day. Next week Monday, man. It's just not waste time. It's just not waste time. But I want to tell you this, because this is for the media, of course, that are here and wherever they are, because tomorrow we're having, of course, a press conference to, of course, address several issues. Because you see, when it is coming to, of course, moral and ethical standards, we cannot afford hypocrisy in high places. We cannot afford, for example, that Rowley tells us that when you are in public office, you have the highest standard of integrity, of transparency, of accountability, and then, of course, giving us some historical antecedent to suggest that somehow, when in 1962 we formed our independence and therefore our independent constitution, and then again, of course, in 1976, when, of course, we formed the Republican Constitution, that we would have come of age. But yet still we have our political leaders that would have been part and parcel of the natural, I shouldn't say natural, no, that's not the right word. I should say part and parcel of the consistency of managing the affairs of this country since 1956. And here it is today. We are seeing, of course, that organization has morphed into a criminal enterprise. Let us not waste time with that. The PNM is a criminal enterprise because one thing I would like you to evidence yourself of to prove that. One thing alone. Dr. Rowley came into the sphere of politics under a PNM banner and carriage and told us that he met a bankrupt PNM. He told us that. He gave us a figure. He told us that $5 million the PNM was owing. That is what he told us. And in 9 years' time, you're billing now a multi-million, 100 million and counting monstrosity called Balize House. That by itself tells me that that is hypocrisy in public office and that you have stolen from the people. That is blood money, man, painted in red. Blood money, blood money, blood money, blood. You see, integrity is important. Integrity is still important. And when we did the examination, after, of course, the PNM under Rowley, back in 2015, told us that the UNC thief, that Kamala is this, that Kamala is that of course, they're looking for them all over the place. Blue lights and silver bracelets. He introduced that in the political lexicon of this country. That's what he did. And then when we did the examination, and as my colleague would have said, and Master of Ceremony, that listen, we did the research and we looked at it, and we looked at it on the basis, let me tell Trinidad and Tobago and elsewhere, we looked at it on the basis of mega projects. And when we looked, and mega project in the context that the PNM has been in office for 9 years, And therefore, any evidence of corruption, nepotism, cronyism of the type they spoke, we would have, of course, or they would have had abreast of it because they have all the documents and all of the information since they control government. But guess what? When we look at the velodrome, the cycling velodrome, when we look at the aquatic center, when we look at the children's hospital, we still call it that. When we look, of course, at the debate campus, and when we look, the most poignant of them all is that of the 106 schools that Rowley couldn't find, and of course, the great and still great Minister of Education, former Gopi Singh, pointed it out in the parliament of the country. Give the UNC a round of applause for being so damn honest. They cannot come with that hogwash now and regurgitating that again. They have to answer as to where they got the money from to build Balize House. And let me tell you this. Rowley is on record saying that not a contractor contracted under the PNM was engaged on that project. But let me tell you this, because I was the one had to do the research. And I want to tell you this, that, and I'm saying it on this platform, Jusamco was pouring concrete on that Balize House. Jusamco is significant to say Jusamco and identify that particular company. So not only did he say that, but when we match it with the evidence, it shows that Jusamco was pouring concrete in a big advertisement, so it's there in public for the public to see, observe, and read, and of course research. And you would see that it was pouring concrete on the foundation of that monstrosity called Balize House. There's a significant reason why I am pointing to Balize House as part of my presentation tonight. You see, it is Jusamco that got the contract to construct that piece of the highway that ultimately fell into the swamp below. It was Jusamco, of course, a member of the Junior Sami conglomerate, if you want to call it that. But very significantly, Balize House has been responsible for the decadence, the turmoil, the evil, the destruction of our young people, our homes, physical, our infrastructure, by way of neglect in Laventille and environs. That is where I'm going. And I want to tell them, tomorrow we are having, as I said, a press conference on the subject. Because you see, these fellas are hollow. I say that they are unashamedly dunce. They are unashamedly cowards. Because here it is. I have a document in front of me. I'm not going to read it. I didn't come here for that. Tomorrow, in the press conference, you will get it. But let me give you the essence of it. This is a pre-action protocol letter from Stuart Young, the current so-called Prime Minister, a total lame duck and a moron of exceeding proportion. And this, just the introduction, so you will have an appreciation. It comes, of course, from the chamber of Alistair Shea, Govan, and of course it says Mr. Lennox Smith, of course, where he was before in terms of the ground report. I'm not going to mention that, but pre-action protocol letter. So it's coming from it's a legal document, and it said defamation of Stuart Young, published on the organization that we belong to before, on May 13, 2020. And it says, just one paragraph, I instruct Mr. Anthony Bullock, we act on behalf of the Honorables Mr. Stuart Young, MP, Minister of National Security, and Minister in the Office of the Prime Minister, my client, is an attorney at law. You're right. But with over 19 years of practice, he's also, and it gave us, of course, a number of things, including, of course, being in the Prime Minister's office. But the essence of this is that he said that we defamed him. We defamed him. And of course, we have another one with respect to I have to wind up now, another one with respect, of course, to Rowley himself. Rowley himself, I sent a pre-action protocol letter to him. The man never responded. And let me give you the dates. This date is the 5th of October, 2023. White, of course, he sent in pre-action protocol letter and he taking everybody to court all over the place. And I calling him all kind of thing every night, every day, on the ground report, on corridor transformation. He would not respond at all. And of course, all of that will be revealed tomorrow at 10 o'clock at 55 George Street, where we have, of course, our information and, of course, communication center. Have a wonderful rest of the night. And let me say to you, Monday is here. Monday is here. Act as though Monday is here. And of course, when Kamala and the UNC and the coalition of interest wins, everybody,
when UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinbago win.
Once again, please, for political leader of Love, Lennox Smith, once again, let me say good evening to all the candidates, all the campaign managers. Let me say good evening, of course, to all the NATEX members, the executive members of the respective parties. Good evening to Professor Selvin Kojo. Good evening to Jerome Lewis. Pleasant good evening to the former MP of Arima, Roger Samuel, and of course the executive of the OWTU. Good evening, good evening. Our next speaker, and sometimes it makes you wonder. I don't know why it is Stuart Young and Rowley and them cutting up their head over something that you will never be there to govern. What you studying Petrotrin for? And if you don't know, perhaps you was closing your fridge door or your wig was blocking your ears. Let me tell you something, make it crystal clear. You can't have no rental of no refinery, no leasing, no opening without the OWTU. It can't happen without the OWTU. You can do what you want. You could flip, dip, and skip, but at the end of the day, nothing is happening with that refinery without the input of the OWTU. And a man who is going to tell you more about it, please put your hands together and welcome on stage the President General of the OWTU, Comrade Ansel Roger.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win,
Thank you, Chairman. Our brother Mikey K. And let me recognize in our absence here the political leader of this great party, of this great coalition of interests, Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, 5 days away from being the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. 5 days. And time is of the essence. So I'd want to use the time I have here very efficiently, except to tell you that with every second, every minute, every day that go by, the anxiety builds, where every single person that we come into contact with tells us that yellow is the code and that we're going to change Trinidad and Tobago. We're going to change it. I am happy. I am happy. I am excited that we are part of changing Trinidad and Tobago. And thank you very much, Mrs. Persad-Bissessar, for being inclusive and having us as part of this effort. Tonight I want to deal with Stuart Young for the time that I'm here. I want to say to Trinidad and Tobago that let us not be outsmarted. Let us not be conned. Let us just use our common sense and remember that Stuart Young and Rowley is one and the same. And that you have Stuart Young now is an extension of Rowley. And why am I telling you that? I'm telling you that because I saw where today he came out with some statement saying that our sister who made the statement last evening, warning the country, warning the WASA workers that they are coming after them. But Stuart Young comes out and says that there's no plan to send home WASA workers. Let us remember, it was Stuart Young and Raul who said they're not shutting down Petrotrin. Remember that? And it was Stuart Young. It was Stuart Young, the Gary Sobers, who is the man that beat workers left, right, and center across this country with Rowley's approval. He was the man agreeing to close down Petrotrin. As a matter of fact, up to this day, he's still saying Petrotrin wasn't closed down. So I had to ask my comrades, are you going to work every day? Are you going to work every month? Are you just collect pay? Of course not. So his statement that they're not going to send home WASA workers rings hollow with us. We know he's not telling the truth. And we know about the report. The Manpower report that recommended workers to go home. And so all they want is the mandate. All they want is a mandate to continue to govern. And as they get that mandate, crap or smoke we pipe here in Trinidad and Tobago. Our eyes are open. Our eyes are open. Our eyes are on the prize. And the 28th can't come quick enough. In fact, I wish if it was tomorrow morning. Because you see, from now to the 28th, it's more time for them to lie, more time for them to fool people, more time for them to change the conversation. I want you to remember, forget all the old talk. Let us be focused. We are not going to allow them to continue to trample on workers in this country. To save the TNTech workers, we have to get rid of the PNM. To save the WASA workers, we have to get rid of the PNM. To save the public servants, we have to get rid of the PNM. To save workers in Trinidad and Tobago, we have to get rid of the People's National Movement. Let's get rid of them. And so, I want you to join me in a little exercise here. And the exercise is pass or fail. And we're going at Stuart Young, In his handling of the energy sector, Stuart Young, pass or fail? You're saying that like you don't believe it. Pass or fail? In the handling of crime, pass or fail? In the handling of the energy sector, pass or fail? Agriculture, pass or fail? Handling Trinidad and Tobago affairs over the last 9.5 years, pass or fail? Guess what? The opportunity presented to us through our democratic process on Monday is one where we become the employers. We become the employers. And we have a chance that must not be taken lightly, which is why I'm talking to the believers here. But I want you to warn and to encourage everybody. Let us not be complacent. Tell your neighbor, neighbor. Tell your friend, friend. Tell your sister, sister. Tell everybody, let us not take any chance. And therefore, we have that opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to rid this country of all the pain and suffering and the anguish that we suffered over the last 9 years. And with this finger, on Monday the 28th, we are going to fire all of them, every last one of them. But in firing them, here's what you're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in a breath of fresh air, a new government, a government that is different, a government that is for the people. Because you see, when you do the performance appraisal, you now have an opportunity to look and see how they perform from 2010 to 2015 and how these people, how these band of bandits perform from 2015 to present. And so we already determined that they failed. So we're going to fire them. But when we fire them, here's who we're going to hire. We're going to hire United National Congress to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago, to serve your own interests. Because all of us, when it's all said and done, we're going to come home, sit down, relax, and wait on the results. I read in the headlines already, you know. I read in the headlines. I dream it. I dream it over 4 days straight. And every time I dream, it has been straight. I dream 36, I play Rowley, big money in my pocket. I just dream straight. Big headline. Tuesday morning, the whole of Trinidad and Tobago going yellow because yellow is the code. That is what they're afraid. That is what they're afraid. So we're going to fire them. And when we fire them, we already have the people well prepared, knowing where the money comes from. And here, we're not like a fella who confessing. Did you see that? A fella confessing. He's saying he know how to move money from this ministry to that ministry. He know how to move money from the ministry to bank account. He know how to move money from ministry to pocket. We in the United National Congress going to move money and the result to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. That's where we're going to move the money, where the people will benefit. And therefore, we are going to hire the best leaders. We are going to hire the most qualified people to run this country. And that is why we have absolutely no fear when we talk about where they're going to get the money. They're reading from a PNM myopic failed script. We are reading from a script that talks about an expanded economy with more revenue streams, increased gas production, increased oil production, and so on. You know the same Scott Young who talking to you and trying to get to believe otherwise. He's not telling you how he failed in energy, and this country's oil and gas production has fallen under the same Stuart Young, you know. But I just want to, in closing, remind the workers of this country that the reason why we are here is for the workers' interests. The reason why we are here is because you, the workers, took a beating of unprecedented proportions over the last 9.5 years. And the reason why we are here is to ensure that you as workers are put at the center of development in this Trinidad and Tobago, and to make sure that you get a better day. And so anybody of a little PNM partner here or there who's still unconvinced, you too going to benefit because you are a worker who go out and toil when the night and day come. And so, as workers in this country, let us remind Dark Leave by asking him one question tonight. Stuart Young, why didn't you bring one piece of legislation to deal with workers' issue in this country over the last 9 years? You are now asking the same workers to vote for you. Well, workers' eyes have been opened up wide, and we have decided for our own best interest, we want to see the backs of the PNM and put in place a government that has performed in the past, that has the capacity to perform now and in the future, a government led by the Honorable Kamala Prasad as your next Prime Minister of this sovereign country, Trinidad and Tobago. Every single person will win. When the UNC win, every worker will win. When the UNC win, Trinidad and Tobago will win. the UNC win, everybody win.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins.
Once again, make some noise for President General OWTU, Comrade Ansel Roger. Labor is in the house. Labor is in the house. Our next speaker is a young lady, Fiery. She's been heating up the platform. When she speaks, everybody says, keep an eye on her. Keep an eye on her. She has the heart. Coalition family, please make some noise for our next speaker, the president of the PSA, Ms. Felicia Thomas.
When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Acknowledgements to the political leader, Mrs. Kamla Persad-Bissessar, my comrades in the trade union movement, the executive of the UNC, candidates, and of course, PSA. Hey, security, come in, sit down, because I have a response for you tonight. Comrades, last night, I reminded WASA workers that there's a cabinet subcommittee report that says the only solution to the issues plaguing the Water and Sewage Authority is the incremental dissolution of WASA. That report didn't put forward any other options, just one. I therefore reminded WASA workers that report means that every single worker will be terminated, dismissed, fired, sent home. And then this afternoon, I was greeted by a message by the Prime Minister that said, I have made false allegations. When I spoke facts, that cabinet subcommittee report is not mine. It is yours, Stuart, your government, your party. Claim it, own it. But here what I want to know, you're calling Marvin a liar? That when he said to Trinidad and Tobago that WASA was overstaffed, he was misleading the population, that he was spreading propaganda, that when he stated 426 managers will be going home, he was lying? That's what you're saying, Stuarty? Comrades, Stuart Young confirmed for WASA workers, for the population, that his government, they are liars. As you sign the damn report, Stuart, your signature is on it. Own it. But he suit up to tell the population, but we receive. Who's the we? When you sign it, Stuart said that this government has no intention of sending home WASA workers. You hear lie? That is lie. Comrades, page 110 of that cabinet subcommittee report, 3-point bullet 1. WASA is overstaffed by 2,500 employees. I didn't say it. You said it, Stuart. Page 115, you said WASA will likely exist for a while, yet transferring the and stay a water management company. So you lie then. Page 115 says that you, Stuart Young, recommend a wastewater entity managed by the new water management company with private sector participation. Let me repeat that. Private sector participation. I didn't say it, Stuart said it. And then I am glad that you have now admitted to the population that you have indeed restructured parts of WASA contrary to what your attorney said. But answer one thing. Who lying there? You or your attorneys? And seeing that you have indeed restructured the management of WASA, tell the wastewater workers in WASA what will be their fate, because in your new management structure, there is no wastewater. Answer that question, Stuart. Let me say to WASA workers, this is the same PNM government that said they were not shutting down Petrotrin. And they did the very same thing as soon as they came into office. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So we don't want your assurances. You can keep it. This is the same man that wants the population to believe that only 2 weeks ago, he realized that food prices gone sky high. That $500 could only do what $200 used to do. Stuarty, you are a seasoned liar from the fiery pits of hell, and labor will reject you. You are banking on workers forgetting what you have done. I will not forget, and I will remind workers daily. This is the same PNM that has workers and fill vacancies. Do reject Stuart Young and the PNM. This is the same PNM that has caused you to be turned away from financial institutions because your jobs are on the line. So what will Labour do? This is the same PNM that has ceased talks on negotiation, causing workers to be on 2013 salaries in 2025. What will Labour do? This is the same PNM that refused to pay NIB workers their 2014-2016 increases. What will Labour do? This is the same PNM that raise their pension based on their final salaries. What will Labour do? Comrades, let me tell you what this man has said in one video, and I'm speaking to the WASA workers. This man has said in one video that PNM, just as they raise gas prices once, they raise it twice, they raise it 3 times, and laugh because we in riot yet, that they have suffered WASA workers for 10 years just for the fun of it. Just because they could. And all of a sudden, now that they want your vote, he wants to act as Pontius Pilate and wash his hands clean of what he has done, hoping that with one speech, he can erase the memory of what the PNM has done, the pain and suffering they have caused workers. No, we reject you strongly. And on April 28th, we will vote you out. Before I leave this podium, I want this crowd here this evening to send a clear message on what will happen to the PNM on April 28th. What we will do?
Everybody win. Everybody win. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. Everybody wins.
Oh, yes, another round of applause, please, for PSA President Felicia Thomas. Make some noise. As always, I always want to acknowledge those people that make up the support committees, the support staff, always there to bubble up, always ready to go. Let me say a pleasant good evening to my good friend, the former president of the PA, Mr. Leroy Batiste. Our next speaker is a man that doesn't leave much room for foolishness. He holds them accountable and he demands answers. He's the outgoing leader of opposition business in the Senate. He first entered Parliament during the third Republican Parliament as one of the UNC's first opposition senators in 1990. And he is one of the longest serving senators in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. A man who is always willing to decipher the lies and of course always willing to bring forward the real happenings that are taking place. Please, coalition family, put your hands together and welcome on stage Senator Wade Mark.
When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your X next to the right.
Thank you very much, Brother Chairman Mikey K. Let me recognize the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa, SC, in her absence, and the incoming Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. My brothers and sisters, I want to recognize all our colleagues in the audience this evening, all our coalition partners, Brother Andre, Ansel Rather, Roger, Philip, Edward Alexander, my brother Lennox Smith. I want to also recognize Jerome. I want to recognize my brother, Professor Selwyn Kojo. Give him a round of applause. I also want to recognize the former president of the PSA, Brother Comrade Leroy Batiste. Give him a round of applause. Brothers and sisters, we have had a decade, 10 years of destruction, of sufferation, of oppression, of exploitation and denial under this brotherhood of wrongdoers. These modern day pharaohs have enslaved the people of our great nation. And for the last 10 years, they have used state power. They have weaponized state power to redistribute, to reallocate, to concentrate power and wealth into the hands of a tiny minority at the expense of you, the working people of our great country. So you are to suffer as the slaves suffered under the plantation, because we have new slave masters led by Stuart Young and Rowley and that gang. My brothers and sisters, they have destroyed our economy. When you look at our economy today, from the time they came into office in 2015, September, to the present time, our economy has contracted by close to 20%, meaning it has become smaller because their policies and programs and plans are not designed for you, for me, for the ordinary people. It is designed to promote the interests of a tiny minority in this land. That is what Rowley and this fellow called Stuart Young and the gang of criminals in the PNM have been doing over the last 10 years. But Liberation Day is here. Freedom Day is here. Emancipation Day is here. And on Monday, April the 28th, we shall liberate the Trinidad and Tobago people. My brothers and sisters, our national debt under this PNM has gone to $141 billion. The external debt, when they came, was just 2.2 billion US. Today, it is over 5.6 billion US dollars. You know what is our foreign exchange reserves? That is the amount of money that we have to use to import goods and services into this country, including food. It is now just under 5.4 billion US dollars. When these bandits and crooks and kleptocrats came into power, Brothers and sisters, the external debt, as I said, stood at 2.2 billion. Today, it is over 5.6 billion. When they came, the debt to GDP was just about 46%. Today, it's closer to 80%. 80%. Brothers and sisters, since they came, unemployment, we have lost close to 70,000 jobs under the PNM. The cost of living has increased from 2016 to 2024 by close to 25%. Food inflation alone is close to 60%. That is where we are today. That is why when you go in the grocery and the supermarket and the parlors, your dollar is worth less than 80 cents. So you cannot purchase what you could have purchased under Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the partnership in 2014 and 2015. So you are poorer. Your standard of living has fallen. Your quality of life has decreased. That is where we are today. And therefore, brothers and sisters, your vote, this vote on Monday, April the 28th, is for your grandparents to keep their pensions. I want you to listen carefully. This vote on Monday, the 28th of April, is to allow your grandparents to keep their pensions, because Stuart Young, Rowley, and that gang called the PNM, they have a bill in the parliament that they refuse to withdraw that says that if you are 65 years of age and you save in the credit union or the bank $25,000, no pension for you. No pension for you. But Stuart Young was installed as Prime Minister for one day. He getting $87,800 a month. A back pay of $1 million. Every year he collects $1 million, and he say, if you save $25,000, no pension for you. You see why on Monday, April the 28th, you have to vote out the PNM. This vote on Monday is for you to protect the sanctity of your castle, the sanctity of your home. Because Stuart Young and Rowley have a law in which they are taking property tax from you, and you cannot pay it. Because you're working on 2007 salary, you cannot pay it. And if you can't pay it, They're coming to take your property. That is in the law. You see why on Monday, April the 20th, you have to vote them out? And brothers and sisters, when you go to the polls on Monday, the 20th of April, you are voting, brothers and sisters, for medical care, for your granny, for your tanty, for your uncle, where we have committed to deploying doctors to visit your doctors will go to granny's home. That is what you'll be voting for. Brothers and sisters, there's a fellow called Vishnu Danpal. He's the permanent secretary, was the permanent secretary, a political permanent secretary. He's now the minister. He's now the so-called Minister of Finance, right? Here what's going on. He was the chairman of the evaluation committee that recommended a company called Oando to take over our refinery. All the reports have shown that this company is financially insolvent. They have more debts than they have assets. How can this man recommend to the cabinet that that company be given the all clear to take over our multi-billion refinery? You ever asked yourself that? Well, we have made it very clear. In 5 days' time, you will put the UNC and its coalition parliament partners in office and take power. And we will ensure that the Petrotrin refinery remains in the hands of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So this is a very serious election, and I want you to take it very seriously, brothers and sisters, because your life, your future, that of your children and your family is at stake. You have a date with destiny. Judgment Day is Monday, April the 28th. And as we say collectively in one common chorus, when the UNC wins, when the UNC wins, when the UNC wins, everybody wins.
Everybody!
Long live the UNC! Long live the people of TNT! Forward ever! Backward never! Forward ever! Backward never! Forward ever! Backward never! Thank you very much.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
In our wisdom, made it quite clear the coalition of interest, because it is in our interest. You have a government who looks at us as an afterthought, after the fact. They get into power, and every social compromise must be made by us. Every sacrifice must be made by us. Every burden must be carried by us. Your train only good enough to go Harry's Water Park. Their train go to Miami. They go to Orlando. You are the afterthought. But come April 28th, no more. We will be a priority. We, the true patriots, will make it clear. We are no longer invisible. We are here and we came to take back our country because we know when the UNC wins, every one of us wins. At this time, I'm going to call up on the candidates. You can come up, of course, and let the good folks see the people who will be representing them. They're humble servants there to deliver and to serve the people of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm going to start off with a young man who I've been liaising with, and he's really and truly, I tell you, he has a love and compassion for the people that he wants to represent, and he is the winning Diego Martin Northeast candidate for PEP. Please, Coalition family, put your hands together for Brendan Butts.
You got the country fall apart. Crime and corruption, it break we hearts. Years of promises still we waiting, but all we getting is more and more pain. The youth's dying, parents fall. PNM run way to the wall, but nobody TNT no more. Philip Alexander rising up, he answering the call. Alexander.
Also representing, also coming out of the PEP camp for Diego Martin West, put your hands together for Janice Lerman Creaky.
Look at the country fall apart. Crime and corruption, it break we hearts. Years of promises still we waiting, but all we getting is more and more pain. The youth's dying, parents fall. PNM run way to the wall, but nobody TNT no more. Philip Alexander rising up, he answering the call. Alexander, fix it, just wait and see for a better tomorrow. You and me, PP and USC, bring everybody hope for win. Some people get up and votes, fought for your rights, vote with all of your might. This elections, vote to save your life.
And coming out of the camp of the Rising Sun for Diego Martin Central, please put your hands together for Karen Thomas.
Everybody win, everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win. Everybody wins, everybody wins. Put your X next to the
From the COP camp, former champion boxer, representing Port of Spain South, Kurt Sinnott.
everybody. When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your X next to the rising sun. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend.
Also out of the COP camp, make some noise. St. Anne's East, Sherrod Small.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your X next to the rising sun. Tell a neighbor, tell a
And coming out of the UNC Love camp for Laventille East Mova, Robert Mitchell.
everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your X next to the rising sun. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, now is the time to rise and shine.
And out of the camp of the Rising Sun for Laventille West, Rodney Stowe.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Put your X next to the rising sun. Tell a neighbor, tell a friend, now is the time to rise and shine. Tell a mother, tell a father, it's time.
All right, the next candidate is also going to address you, the crowd. He has been a public-spirited, civic-minded social activist for well over 26 years. He's the founder of the Jericho Project, He's also founder and director of the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago, and he is the political leader of the Progressive Empowerment Party, which fought the elections in 2020. The man himself who has added to the problems of Stuart Young for Borders Bay North, St. Anne's West, Philip Alexander!
Look at the country fall apart. Crime and corruption, it break we hearts. Years of promises still we waiting, but all we getting is more and more pain. Youths dying, parents fall. TNM run way to the wall, but nobody TNT no more. Philip Alexander rising up, he answering the call. Alexander, fix it, just wait and see for a better tomorrow for you and me. EPM, USC, bring everybody up for me. Some people get up candles, fought for your rights, fought with all of your might. These elections, got to save your life. Hospitals in a mess.
Thank you. Thank you. You see, that is what keeping Stuart Young up in the night. Because you see, all you're getting on dirty. We ain't taking PNM nonsense no more. Stand up! Stand up! Stand up! Send a message. We ain't taking that no more. Let me observe the protocols. First of all, there's no other way of saying this. She is the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. She is the general of this army, Madam Kamla Prasad Bissessa. In no particular order, I recognize Deputy Political Leader, Mr. David Lee, Senator Wade Mark, the heads of the unions, my colleagues, political leaders, candidates, the professor, sir, and if I forgot to mention anybody, let's just say all protocols observed. All right? Now, I don't read. All you know that. I don't read, but tonight I had to not forget certain things. I wanted to remember certain things. And I want to say this in case I run out of time and I don't get to say it. To the UNC people, I want to thank you for all the love you've shown me and the Progressive Empowerment Party. We feel like you have adopted us into your family, and we return all the love. We return all. But it's not just the UNC, it's the COP and Love and the unions. We have become a powerful family set on fire to rescue this country.
This is the vision of Kamla Prasad Bissessa. Without once, I don't think I didn't hear her say the words national unity, but she's united this nation. Every creed and race finds an equal place here. So while Stuart Young and squad counting their members as people taking the example of Keith Rowley, who fled the PNM, the rest of them fleeing, and they come in to the coalition because everybody feeling at home here. Everybody. And I want to say again, because I had called on the political leaders of the smaller parties, now that all the polls are out and you know that you have no chance, I'll give you a round of applause for trying, but stand down. I ask you to stand down. Don't run interference for these people. Don't run interference. Don't interrupt their date with destiny that come in on Monday. Don't interrupt that at all. Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. When you hear the union workers talk, the union leaders talk about what has been done to the workers in this country, I want to remind you, all of we are workers. All of we, they're speaking for us. And I want to say to the candidates of those smaller parties, with all the love I have to give, come over to the coalition. There is room here in this mansion for everybody. Come, come, come. It's time to talk. It's time to talk. I want some of my words, I write it down on other speakers, like Wade Mark, Steve Harper's speech. But Liberation Day is Monday. Liberation Day is Monday. Now, to a lot of you, I just want to apologize, but I need to speak to the people of Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West for a minute. I want Casablanca to know that Liberation Day coming. I want Belmont to know Liberation Day coming. Cascade, St. Anne's, Hutton Road, Area, Peter, Belmont, Gonzales. I want you all to hear me. Port of Spain, St. Clair, Federation, everybody on Monday the 28th of April, go to vote, look for this symbol. And I want to touch on that for a minute. Those of you who are voting on Monday, and I am assuming that is every one of you, if you are voting in the constituencies of the coalition partners, make sure to be aware. In Diego Martin West, you are voting for the PEP symbol. In Diego Martin Central, you're voting UNC. In Diego Martin Northeast, you're voting PEP. In Port of Spain, in St. Anne's East, you're voting COP. In Port of Spain North, you're voting PEP. In Port of Spain South, you're voting COP. And I want you to remember, because we want every single vote to count. Somebody tell me today, this PNM is not a political party to defeat. This is a band of demons to cast out. We're gonna cast them out. Monday we voting with prayers. Monday we come in. Watch me. Normally, I just be the gangster on the podium, but Miss Felicia Thomas, she's best gangster now. I can't even follow the lyrics. But I want to tell you, we want to talk to the people. When we say Liberation Day is coming, we're talking about jobs, we're talking healthcare, we're talking education, not two-tiered education for some in the 1% and the prestige schools. We're talking education across the board. Yeah. We reminded them our civilization, our society, our country, our capitalism is built on property ownership. You cannot tax my property. We will abolish that property tax. Financial service regulations to stop the banksters thieving your money. We're putting them laws in place. No more fees, no more charges. I wanted to touch on Kamla Prasad Bisesa said, PNM close it, but this coalition reopening Petrotred, that happening. Now I had to write this one down. I don't want to talk about the minister responsible for the murder of those 4 divers. I don't want to talk about Maduro's friend, the man who smuggled Delcy and the drug lords into the country under the dead of night, while your family members were locked out of the country. I don't want to talk about, I don't want to call his name. I don't want to invoke that demon. I don't want to talk about the man who bullied his way into elected office. I want to talk about 5 more days to Liberation Day. I see exhaustion in the faces of the candidates. Let me tell you, the candidates in this part of Trinidad, those who walk their constituency, if their walk is climb. Watch now. These constituencies is hills and valleys. And we climb some mountains well. Adana, thank you. Adana, stand up and take a round of applause. Adana led the team through the hills of St. Anne's and Cascade. Well done. And all of we walking, your quads burning, your glutes hurting, and Adana burning track, so you had to keep up. I want to say that with the next 5 days, we all, every citizen who hears this message, we all have a responsibility to open our hearts, open our arms, help the PNM members who are leaving the PNM transition. Let us bring everybody across. Let us open. Listen. This is Trinidad and Tobago business now. We want to leave them bandits and demons standing by themselves. Every time the leader talk to me, she's tell me, stay calm. Stay calm. Because you know, out of all her soldiers, my mouth hot like a pepper. She know that. She tell me, stay calm. And now she's telling everybody else stay calm. But it's me she talking to. I know it's me she talking to. But I want to say, I am surrounded. Every time I look around, the team that she's, not I'm a team, the army she's assembled, I am so overwhelmed by the talent, the strength. This is no easy squad here, no. PNM. I don't know what I mean. I don't know what I mean. You could imagine being in Stuart Young and Rowley Place, knowing this squad riding for you. You could imagine. I want to say it, but I'll get both, so I can't say it, right? I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm behaving myself. Tell her. Tell her. I want to also single out for some applause. I want to tell you, I know I'm biased to say it, but my pep team, boy, all your hard working, boy, all your real, listen, all your not easy. I run in on 3 hours sleep last night. We leave St. Joseph 2 o'clock. I wake up 5 o'clock this morning to go on CNC3. When that alarm ring, I nearly fling that phone. What's the? Hey, but we gotta do it. We have to do it because when UNC wins, when the PEP wins, when the COP wins, when our comrades in the PSA and the OWTU and the SWWTU and all the trade unions win, and most importantly, when our leader becomes the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, everybody wins. I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you who helped, all of you who tried, all of you who lifted, take night and make day. I want to thank every security guard who opened a gate. I want to thank the security guards in Jean Pierre Complex who tell me, the boss and them say, all you can park here, but we didn't hear them, so all you could park. That is Trinidad and Tobago now. The country on fire for change. And on Monday, we're going to burn down that evil empire. On Monday, the 28th of April, everybody going to win. Thank you.
We go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. Come out in your numbers. We go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. We go fix it. No jobs, no safety, no water, no justice.
Another round of applause, please, for the political leader of PEP and the winning candidate for Port of Spain North, St. Anne's West, Philip Alexander. At this time, we have some entertainment for you. I want to call on stage the artist, Bel Air. Bel Air, make some noise for Bel Air.
UNC, you win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala, win them now. Glory, glory, hallelujah. None of them can come and anti-Kamala. Take a look, UNC taking over. I know PNM can come round. You win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala win them now. UNC. Stand up. You win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala win them now. Glory, glory, hallelujah. None of them can come and anti-Kamala. Take a look, UNC taking over. And no PNM can come round. You win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala win them now. Well, we don't know, still turn them Messiah. I'm calling him good, raise the gas higher. I'm on the PNM, we gonna dash a fire. Cause no policy can come wrong. You win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala win them now. Oh, listen, look. Hush your mouth when Anti-Kamala talk. Talk before you think. UNC pop it off. Calling them but offer 4% and such a laugh. Now they want to take the people pension and cut it in half. This election, PNM and lost. Rolling down, leave the supporters to eat grass. On the 28th, Kamala go put them in the past. We taking back the country, we go show them who we win them now. Oh, you win them now. You win them now. Anti-Kamala win them now.
You remember once they boasted about cutting 18,000 food laws? You remember that? And they were so happy and proud to tell you they cut 18,000 people from getting their food cards. And they're coming now to cut your access to pensions and public assistance.
Pull it back.
They're monitoring how...
Give me the rhythm alone. I have something special for them tonight. Are you listening? Listen where I'm coming from. The people in Trinidad real ballin'. They say how the PNM disgusting. They want to take back the food can what the poor man getting. And in the treasury, $3 billion missing. And everybody quiet, nobody not saying nothing. And Rowley done lie, saying a close better chin. Watch how my school close, we want back them go pissing. And bring back Alexander to stop the killing. So on the 28th, you know who you're voting. So listen to my style and listen what me sing. Me vote UNC and make everybody win. We want Kamala. The whole of Trinidad want Kamala.
Everybody! When UNC win,
Yeah!
Trinidad wins. UNC, everybody wins.
Make some noise for Bel Air. Oh, yes. I'm getting on bad, boy, Bel Air. Folks, our next speaker is a distinguished lawyer, politician, and advocate for social justice. He's a founding member and he is the leader of the Congress of the People. Coalition family, Port of Spain, please make some noise for Mr. Prakash Ramada.
Everybody! When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Good evening, everyone. My apologies for being a bit late, but as you know, the election is only 28, and we have to multi-purpose. And I want to assure you, I've just come from Tunapuna and St. Joseph, that something has happened in this country. There is a stirring of the people. There's a love that is being spread. And there is a hope and optimism that a serious change is to come to Trinidad and Tobago on the 28th. My dear friends, I see our candidates, Jared Small, St. Anne's East. I see my dear friend, and former political leader of the party that I am now graced to lead, the Congress of the People, Mr. Kurt Sinnett. These two warriors for our future have taken on a challenge in what was known as solid PNM ground. But I want to tell you this, that the ground has shifted. It is not broken, but it is being made fertile for the planting of the seed of true warriors for the future for children in Trinidad and Tobago. And I thank you both. To my friend Philip Alexander, and the man who puts a pep in our step, congratulations on the work that you and your team have been able to give to us as an inspiration of the impossible being made possible. To our coalition partners, Mr. Batiste, and that young lady who is such a dynamic speaker, the present president, the past president, because we believe that there is no present without a past. And if the past wasn't properly built on, then the present would fall. And Mr. Batiste, I know the work and the love that you've given to this country. And I think that your successor, we could not want for more. To our friends from the OWTU, Mr. Roger, a man who I respect, and I want to tell you a little bit afraid of in the past, is now a partner in the preparation for Trinidad and Tobago's future. Now, I want to make it abundantly clear that the task ahead of us is not necessarily an easy one. There is propaganda afoot in this nation for the last many years and into today's date. We can take nothing for granted. But I hear the PNM, those who we must remove on April 28th, say they're ready and they're responsible. Ready? Get ready to go, 1. 2, responsible. I agree, responsible for what? Who was it that killed agriculture in this country? Who's responsible? Tell me, who is it? PNM? Who is responsible for moving our nation, an exporter of fuel into an importer of fuel? Who is responsible? Who is responsible for ruining an economy that was the envy of the region, making it a place that our children, we are fearful that they would not have proper employment? Who is responsible for that? With every responsibility comes a cost. 10 years you had the power that you use as a weapon to hurt and to oppress, not as a tool to build and to help and to create a new path forward. My friends, I want to tell you, in 2010 to 2015, all of the propaganda falls when you look at the reality of what your Government of the People's Partnership was able to give. We built hospitals in Arima, in Point Fortin. We gave water to 250,000 more persons who did not have before. We built an institution, the UWI campus in South, so that those from the oil fields, Mr. Roger, the children didn't have to come up to St. Augustine and rent for what is a full salary for a working man. We built the swimming academy and the cycling academy and put a hospital right across the road that we dedicated to children. But it was not just that. We were creating centers of excellence for health. Mr. Lee, my dearest friend, you knew what our plan was. You helped make it happen. The plan was that when we developed Sevilla Club, and for those from the north who do not know, it is one of the most beautiful parts of Trinidad and Tobago. We were to put a 5-star hotel with a world-class golf course so that teams from around the world, because we have many stadia right in that area, cricket academy, apart from swimming and cycling. So we wanted to create an environment, a new economy for sport tourism. And no sport team will ever come here unless they are sure that if there is any sport injury, that they had a world-class medical facility across the road. This is what we are doing. The PNM laughed and ridiculed when we said that at Camden, for those who do not know, Camden was always an air base during the Second World War. We were developing that so that it could bring in the private jets of the billion-dollar owners of these sports teams. You can imagine a Shaquille O'Neal coming in with his private jet into Vancouver, going to our five-star hotel, playing golf, bringing all his team members. The economy would have changed, but it was not just that. At Mount Hope, we were creating a center of excellence where we had partnered with the best hospitals of this world to bring the best doctors so that we would have been a center of attraction for medical tourism. And when people come, they bring their entire families. And we had partnered even with Derek Chin here at Movie Town, where he was going to put a mini Disney, Streets of the World. What did the PNM do? They destroyed all of that hope and ambition. But let's get back to oil and gas for a moment. Oil and gas from Guyana since 2015, we demitted office. We had started putting in place, Mr. Roger must tell us more about these things, that we had put facilities at Galeota to bring in the oil and gas from the East Coast. Where did Guyana find its oil and gas? But why is it that this government couldn't speak to Guyana to coordinate, to ensure that their crude could come to Pointe-à-Pierre for refining? You know why? They believe that being Maduro's friend and dancing partner was far more important. Guyana didn't want to hear and does not wish to hear from the PNM. I will say this as a logical conclusion, because the friend of my enemy is my enemy. Maduro has been threatening Guyana to take away 2/3 of the people's lands and their oil and their gas. How could you expect to negotiate? But a Kamla Persad-Bissessar regime, government, will negotiate and will ensure that the Pointe-à-Pierre refinery is ensured to be restored, not be sold off as scrap metal. They knew they wanted to close it, but they lied and they fooled and they played with us all and allowed it to be more rusty than worthy. These are the things that we have to polish. These are the things that we need to fix. So there is hope in this country. They ask where the money will come from. By growth of the economy. They have no plans for growth. All they know is to tax and diminish and suppress and oppress. The People's Partnership government did it in 2010 to 2015, and we will do it again with the coalition from 25 to 30 and beyond. I want to get a little bit, I know my time is limited, and I beg your pardon for it. I had the privilege of walking the streets of Duncan Street and George Street with Mr. Sinnett. People said, you ought to be crazy to do that. Yeah, crazy not to do it, because the love that we met good in that area was phenomenal. From the oldest to the youngest, we were greeted with warmth. And they all said that they're fed up. Change is needed. Is that not so? Good. When we walked in Pioneer Drive and Production Drive, the entire community came out to us and said the same thing. Guess what? After our walk, the Member of Parliament went back, and suddenly, without a cabinet meeting or anything, they get in a fishing facility. I do not know what that means, but I'm not buying that hook, line, or sinker. Because we have known of the false promises of these people. When things are bad, they make the biggest promises but never deliver. I'll give you an example. Mr. Roche, I'm sorry to keep calling you, but you're in the middle of everything. As you know, the Paria divers, there was an accident, yes, but 4 men were alive and they knew it. And they allowed them to perish in the worst possible way in a 30-inch pipe of the uttermost darkness with the fumes of petroleum stifling them. And they had hope because one of their numbers had gone out. And told everybody they are alive, I can go back in. The sons were prevented. Why? Because some clown or clowns decided they had the authority and power to decide whether they should live or die. And they did die, the most horrific of deaths. Since 25th of March, 2022, and thanks to the OWTU and your union that stood with that family, from those families from then till today. I want you to give them a round of applause. Not a single cent has been given to these families till today. Till today. We have been asking. They have refused. Commissioner for Inquiry, 20+ million spent. One lawyer, $8.4 million. I am a father, I'm a citizen, and I see my working brothers early in the morning with a little bag going down to work, 5 o'clock, going to work, coming back in the evening late. The average working salary is less than $7,000 in this nation. Right? If you get a $7,000 a month job, you're doing good. Do you know how long it takes for a man earning $7,000 to earn $8.4 million? 100 years. Think about that for a minute. Not a cent for the families of the deceased. How could we allow it, Felicia? How could we allow this? Mr. Batiste, how could we allow this as a society? In this month, an election just 5 days away, the Prime Minister got a sudden realization of conscience and said he will pay $1 million ex gratia. He never said when. We wrote him and we said paid by the 14th of April, otherwise we will take action. It's political. They acknowledged receipt. 2 days ago on a public platform, I said, starting this morning, I was going to do a national countdown to the elections. Guess what? Yesterday evening, we get a letter. The government has approved the $1 million, but from a letterhead from the Ministry of Energy. They have not indicated when the money will be paid, who is paying it, or anything like that. So once again, we have to hold on to that, right? Not a check, nothing for these people. So I am sick and tired of false promises. Are you? What are we going to do about it? We have a solution. On Monday, ensure that every friend, family, and people who you don't even like, call them and make sure they vote. As our deputy political leader, Imran Ali, has said, and he taught me, I'm using it now, it takes on average 5 minutes to vote. And if you do it wrong, you'll have 5 years of horror. They will not improve in 5, they will get worse. But if you do it right, you have an age at least of 5 years of peace, prosperity, and progress in this nation for all of us. It is now our duty. It is our sacred duty to ensure that we return Kamla Persad-Bissessar as our Prime Minister. And rest assured that when we give our word, we keep it. And Trinidad and Tobago will be a better place. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Once again, a round of applause for Prakash Ramada. Wonderful, folks. And how do you know when you're effective? How do you know when you're winning? When your opponent can't even agree on a strategy. What lie, what propaganda, what to fabricate. They're on the ropes. And on Monday, we're going in for the political kill. And a man who has always been there to tell it as it is, the man who's been co-chairing with me, he went on a whirlwind tour across this country today from 5 a.m. and he's now coming out of La Horquita, Coalition family, please. Port of Spain, put your hands together and welcome Anil Roberts.
When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad win.
UNC, PEP, COP, PSA, OWTU, make some noise! I'm really feeling happy. I'm really feeling happy. I just came from talking in a spot meeting in Lopino, Aruca Lopino, then La Joqueta Talparo. Fly down the road, I wouldn't tell you how fast, because I had to come here to see my people and to report to you that the PNM is dead. The PNM is dead all over Trinidad and Tobago because of you, because of your heart, because of your soul, because of your spirit, because of your patriotism, because you believe in Trinidad and Tobago. The PNM is dead. And on April 28th, we will bury them deep. We will bury them for the sins of their forefathers. We will bury them from Marlborough House in 1962. We will bury them for 1981. We will bury them for 1986, for 1991, for 2015, because they are wicked, they are evil, they practice opium, and they must go, and they must stay gone. The politics of greed, arrogance, avarice, and wickedness is over. Imagine a man sitting in a cabinet who not only draw his own salary, but step out the cabinet and take $143.5 million for himself, coming to tell workers, you can't get 1%. You could only get 0%. You can't get this. You can't get food card. But fire, burn all of them. Big men talking about them could walk longer than Kamala, and them could run faster than Kamala, and them could do more sit-up than Kamala, and them could bench press more than Kamala. Well, you go ahead, because the Prime Minister needs brain, heart, spirit, love, and compassion. She don't need to run fast. Leave that for the children who she will support with funding from taxpayers to develop their talent. She will win Olympic medals by helping those who are supposed to run fast. Run fast. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to be here and to welcome a man, and all of you have to understand, this PNM wicked. And don't think they ain't gonna lie on you, and you, and you, and you. They're gonna lie on you. They have no character. They have no cons. They have no brought-up. They have no shame. They lie on this man. They persecute this man for 3 years. As soon as they started the persecution, I said on Doubles and Coffee, they're trying to last till the election. But that trumped-up charge will be dismissed by any magistrate or anybody with any modicum of sense, because it made no sense. It was pure wickedness, and it was a bunch of liars trying to stay in government to take your money away from you. But God may wear pajamas, but God don't sleep. And as we said, David Lee was set free, and every trumped-up charge was thrown out the window by the magistrate who saw the corruption in the hearts and minds of the PNM.
He is our deputy political leader, one of three. He supports the next Prime Minister, Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Please join me and welcome our deputy political leader, David Lee.
When UNC win, everybody win. Everybody's a winner. When UNC win, Trinidad wins. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins.
Thank you, Anil. I was a bit wary when I saw Anil come up here, you know. So, good night, my brothers and sisters in Port of Spain. Port of Spain is alive and well. And on April the 28th at 6 p.m., you will see a new government, and the Prime Minister will be no other than Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar. Tonight, before I start, I know the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar, is locked on and listening. Our viewership is high. There's a meeting the PNM is having in Bond Road, and they are struggling to get just over 700 viewers on Facebook. We are over 8,000 and climbing, brothers and sisters. That is the power of our coalition of interest. Before I start, I would like to say good night to so many fantastic people here tonight. I would like to start with Professor Cudjoe. Thank you so much for staying the course with the UNC and really fighting with us for your country, Professor. I would like to say thank you to the PSA Union for staying the course in over 2 years, and other unions like OWTU and President Roger and others who stayed the course with the UNC when we were negotiating behind the scenes for over 2 years. There was a lady there, Felicia Thomas, who is now the president of PSA. At that point in time, she was the first vice president. She said very little in those meetings, very little. So after the meetings, we used to say, I wonder if Felicia knows to talk. But the night I heard her in Grande for Wayne Sturge, I know why she's the president of PSA. And when she became the president of PSA, she supported the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress. We say thank you, Felicia, and your team. Brothers and sisters, today we are 5 days away from ending a decade of destruction, decimation, and disregard for our citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Never before has a government hurt so many citizens of this country. Never before has a government broken our national economy, crushed our public services, and treated our national institutions with disdain as this PNM has done for the past 10 years. Today, the PNM are so desperate that they are trying to rehash their propaganda from 10 years ago, all in an effort to have you forget what they did to you over the last 10 years. On Monday, we must reject those 7 fuel prices increases that President Roger talked about. On Monday, we must reject a government that offered you 4% while they increase their pension. Now, I thought Chinese people could count. I know I could count. So I listened to a little video that Stuart Young was, I think he was on a platform saying that, oh, UNC and the coalition of interest and unions starting at 10%. But we at the PNM starting at 5%. So I say, my mother who is 92 years said, David, you hear what Stuart Young saying? She said, I thought Chinese could count. I say, mother, that fella going in reverse. So I always thought 10% was higher than 5%. I don't know where Stuart Young in his math saying 5% better than 10%. I want to tell you, the UNC and the coalition of interest with the union will start the negotiating at 10%. No less than 10%. It is there on the track record. So Stuart Young could come all what he wants to come and say. He is just talking hogwash. Now I have a problem with Stuart Young being the Prime Minister. I'm telling you that here tonight. When you go in the airport and you see the pictures of all past Prime Ministers, it starts from Eric Williams, the amount of years, then George Chambers, then A&R Robinson, and then Mr. Pandey, and then you have Mr. Manning, and then we have our Kamla Prasad Bisesa. It goes in years. It goes in years, my brothers and sisters. And the sad part about that, when we go to the airport on the 29th of April, you will see Stuart Young picture saying from the 17th of March to the 28th of April, 2025. 43 days. That number of 43 days will be under his picture as the length of time he would be Prime Minister of this country. 43 days. And that is what Rowley did to our country. He put a boy in charge to run your affairs. And we must run that boy out of town on the 28th of April, my brothers and sisters. When you look at Stuart Young, now I could talk about Stuart Young. I am the real Chinese. I think I am the real Chinese. I am the real Chinese, right? I don't know about Stuart Young, what genes, what race he has. I am the real deal. I am the real deal. When you look at Stuart Young's track record in every ministry that he has been over the last 9 years, as President Roger will tell you, it has been failure upon failure upon failure. As I will use President Roger, he was so powerful in his jumping out speech in Naparima College a few weeks ago. And he said, it is not Kamla shut down the petrol train. It is who? The PNM. It is not Kamla took away the wage negotiations from the unions. It was who? The PNM. And the list goes on and on, my brothers and sisters. When you look at Stuart Young's track record in national security, it is a failure. When you look at his track record in the energy sector, it has been a failure. And he wants to come and tell you, well, forget about all of that. We start in a new chapter. We turn in the book and we start in a new chapter. So forget about my track record of a failure in national security, a failure in the energy sector, a failure as Gary Sobers. Forget all of that and we'll start a new chapter from the 29th of April. We must say we're not taking none of that. We must say that and vote him out. I want to tell you something. I know it has been a long night and there's much more I would have said as I bring greetings on behalf of the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa and the Coalition of Interest. And I must say, I would like to say thank you to Philip Edward Alexander and his team, the leader of PEP. Philip will fix it with Kamla Prasad Bisesa on the 29th of April. I want to say thank you to my brother, and he's really my brother. I mean no other than my friend, my brother, the Honorable Prakash Ramada, the leader of the COP, a great, great, decent human being. We have a team, as Philip said, assembled here of decent men and women who has, I don't want to say the word, I think Philip was using anything so. Have the PNM something doing that. Well, I will use the two hands. I think Philip was using one hand. I will use two hands because one is Rowley and one is Stuart Young. Both of them quaking on the 28th of April. So I want to tell you before I end, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. We agree with that? And the PNM is having a problem with that slogan. They are having a problem with that slogan. They cannot take, everywhere you go, you hear people singing the song. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Everywhere we go, you hear that song singing. But I want to dissect it a little bit. Because when UNC win, what you will get in Port of Spain and throughout Trinidad and Tobago, stronger laws to stop noise pollution in residential communities. What is wrong with that? The people are crying out for that. When UNC wins, you know what you'll get? Home visit by doctors from district health centers. Nothing is wrong with that. That is what UNC and the Coalition of Interest will give you. And health centers will be open once more 24/7 in our country. When UNC wins, you know what you'll get? Comfort patrols to safeguard your communities. What you had between 2010 and 2015 where people felt safer in their communities. That is what you will get on the 29th of April, my brothers and sisters. When UNC wins, you know what you'll get? Business approvals easier and faster to make our foreign direct investments come back once more in our country. When UNC wins, you know what you're getting? Lower corporate taxes to expand small and medium businesses. That is what you will get, my brothers and sisters. When UNC wins, you know what you're getting? You're getting free laptops for our students once more in our schools come the 29th of April, my brothers and sisters. When UNC wins, we will reopen the GATE program and expand the scholarship for our young men and women. When UNC wins, children will win with security and safety officers and police presence in schools to stop the violence and the bullying that is taking place in our schools. What is wrong with that? That is what you will get with the coalition of interest. But Stuart Young and Rowley does not want that for you, my brothers and sisters. Stuart Young and Rowley spent over $600 billion in our country over the last 10 years. And you must ask yourself, what did you get for $600 billion that Stuart Young and Rowley wasted in our country? Now, I am sure Stuart Young and Rowley will call my name in the next platform, and they love David Lee's name. They love to call my name. Ladies and gentlemen, the tragedy of this country under Stuart Young and Rowley, as I am now the candidate for Caroni Central, and I traverse the constituency for the last 3 weeks, I am looking a little bit toasty. You know, in other words, if you're going to a Chinese restaurant, you might ask us crispy skin something. I looking like that, crispy skin. All right? I have been burnt in the sun for the last 17 or 18 days. As I traverse the constituency of Caroni Central, which is one of the largest landmass constituencies it has, you know how much days a month they get water? 2 days a month, my brothers and sisters. 2 days. Every 15 or 16 days, they get a 6-hour supply of water. They have been living like this for the last 10 years. And I told them, on the 29th of April, with God and Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the coalition of interest, you will get a running supply, a better supply than twice a month, my brothers and sisters. I assure them that, and with your help, we will do it. Could you imagine, twice a month you get water? How could you live? And you're asking over 31,000 people in the constituency of Caroni Central to live on twice a month of water. That is a tragedy. That is heartlessness. And I saw Ganga Singh a couple days ago, and I asked Ganga Singh, because when I walked, the people used to say, between 2010 and 2015, they got a better supply of water. And what Ganga Singh told me, who was in charge of WASA, he said that is pure wickedness by this PNM government. That is geographical discrimination that is being carried on by the PNM government in the distribution of water. So could you imagine, simple as water, they are doing that to you. Could you imagine, take God of your thought and give them another 5 years, what they will do to you and this country, my brothers and sisters? You will not know Trinidad and Tobago like how you know it today if you put those people back in. So brothers and sisters, there's not much more I can say tonight. All I will say to you is that on April the 28th at 6 p.m., you will have a new Prime Minister, and none other than the Honorable Kamla Persad-Bissessar and her team of the coalition of interest. I assure you that. I assure you that, my brothers and sisters. And as I end, for Port of Spain, when UNC win and the coalition of interest win, everybody in Trinidad and Tobago wins. I thank you so much. Reach home safe. I know the time is late. I thank you. We love you. Stay tuned. 5 more days. 5 more days for salvation. I thank you so much.
Everybody's a winner. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Everybody's a winner. When UNC wins, Trinidad wins. UNC, everybody wins. Everybody wins.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Who's going to entertain you all this evening? So bring it on, Orlando Octave. There you go. Get them out. Hey, the time is now. Got to vote them out. Hey, enough is enough. 10 years we had it rough. Be on the best road. Get your food out here. But we voted. And we voted UNC. Your finger. UNC. And we voted UNC. Vote for Camilla, better country. And we voted UNC. Lift your finger. UNC. And we voted UNC. Vote for Camilla. Time to get rid of. Hey, put Mr. in charge. Hey, the People's Party. We and them advantage us for too damn long, and we work back with country. With the faith oil the country spoil. Scotty must go. Close down Petro Chin. Scotty must go. Yeah. Where the taxpayers' money gone, in bird cancer. And what about the gas? What is in Venezuela? And he bringing the sea.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for the meeting there in Port of Spain. We are back with you. It's in the village with Uncle Tommy, Professor Wall Street, and you. And we're going to be taking you till 10 p.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The only program on the planet where you can get a UNC stream. And when we finish, we get our program. Only here on WZYE 95.9 FM. But, Tommy, I was watching some comments, and Patricia Reed, Patty, you know, sometimes I don't understand her, you know. This is what